everyone, and welcome to this life-giving episode of HG Elementary. I'm Alex, and I'll be your host this week. To start off our episode today, I want you to think of someone that you think is very talented. It could be a famous singer, musician, or athlete, or someone you know that can do something that's very difficult or a high level of skill. Got it? Good. Now, if you're like me, you may be comparing your talents to theirs and feel like you don't really have any good talents. But here's the truth. They're not the only ones who are talented. We all are. We all have gifts and talents God has given us, and He wants us to use them to share His love and message with others.
Have no fear! Super Co-Host is here.
What?
Do not fret, mere citizen. I, Super Co-Host, am here to save the day, rescue those who need rescuing, and right every single wrong.
Okay, Super Co-Host or Josh, what's going on? Why are you pretending to be a superhero?
I am not Josh, and I'm not pretending to be a superhero. I am a superhero. After all, this is Heroes Gate, and I heard something about how God has given us special gifts and talents. So I got myself a costume, and now all I have to figure out is what superpower God has given me. Perhaps it's X-ray vision. Nope, not that. Perhaps I can fly. Nope, guess I can't do that either. Maybe I can read minds. Okay, you're thinking about how Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island.
No, not even close.
Okay. Well, what's the superpowers God has given me? And how will I help people if I don't know what my superpowers are?
I think our Bible story today may help you figure that out. Hey, you want to help me tell it?
Well, of course! Helpful is my superhero middle name. Well, not really, it's Ralph. But you get the idea.
Our story today takes place here in God's big amazing story, not too long after Jesus died on the cross, came back to life 3 days later, and gave his disciples the job of going out into the world to tell people about him.
And they did. Peter and the other disciples were soon filled with God's Holy Spirit, and it gave them a new courage and boldness to teach people about Jesus and God's amazing love. They traveled from town to town and helped thousands of people come to know about Jesus.
Now let's begin the story we call Cloudy with a Chance for Miracles.
One day, Peter was travelling around the country and decided to go to the town of Lydda to speak to the Jesus followers who lived there and teach them more about Jesus and following him. But when Peter got there, he realised God had something else for him to do while in Lydda.
There, Peter met a man named Aeneas, who had been paralyzed and unable to walk for the past 8 years. He'd had to lie in bed most of the day or have friends and family carry him around if he needed to go somewhere. He couldn't work or take care of himself. He had to rely on others for food, shelter, and clothing. And when Peter saw Aeneas, he knew God wanted to use him to heal him.
Peter said,
Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Get up and roll up your mat.
Immediately, Aeneas got up. He kept thanking Peter for healing him, which caused Peter to respond,
It wasn't me. Instead, it was Jesus who healed you. I cannot take any of the credit for myself. It was God working through me to heal you. Praise Jesus!
Aeneas and his friends and family were amazed and overjoyed. And as Aeneas left his house on his own 2 feet for the first time in 8 years, people from all over Lydda and the surrounding area saw him and could hardly believe their eyes.
Lydda was a smaller town, and its people knew Aeneas had been paralyzed. And yet here he was, walking around town like everyone else. Because of the miracle God did through Peter, many people there came to be Jesus followers.
Meanwhile, about 9 miles away in the town of Joppa, things took a turn for the worse. A Jesus follower named Tabitha had become very sick. Tabitha was well known in her town, and among the Jesus followers there for being an amazing friend.
She was an incredible example of God's love to those around her. But she had gotten very sick, and in fact she died. Her friends were heartbroken.
But then they heard something that gave them hope. Peter, a disciple who had walked with Jesus and seen him raise people from the dead, was just over in Lydda. Would he be able to somehow help?
They sent men to him.
Oi, are you Peter?
Yes I am. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Please come at once and see if your God can help us.
Okay, lead the way.
Peter went with them, and he arrived at the house where Tabitha's body lay in an upstairs room.
All the widows were there, Tabitha's friends and women she'd helped, and they showed him the clothes she had made for them and told Peter what an amazing Jesus follower Tabitha had been.
Peter knew God wanted to do something miraculous again, so he sent everyone out of Tabitha's room. Then he got down on his knees and prayed. He talked with God, asking him what he should do. Led by God's Holy Spirit, Peter turned to Tabitha and said,
Tabitha, get up.
And immediately, Tabitha's eyes fluttered open. Seeing Peter kneeling beside her, she sat up. All her sickness was gone. She had been brought back to life and healed by the power of God working through Peter. Peter took her hand and helped her to her feet.
Then he called the others inside to see what had happened. The widows and Tabitha's other friends hurried in and were immediately amazed and overjoyed.
There was Tabitha, alive and healthy once again. It was a miracle, and you can be sure they celebrated and praised God like never before.
Word spread quickly of what had happened in Joppa, and even more people came to believe in Jesus because of the miracle God had done through Peter there.
God told Peter to stay there for a while, and he did, teaching the people about God and helping them to follow Jesus with their lives. Wow, what an incredible story! And now I know what my superpower is.
Okay, dare I ask, what is your superpower?
I'm gonna be a super healer who can heal those who are sick and dead with one touch of my finger. And that's how I'll show the world the power of God.
That's actually not what I was getting at with this story.
What? But Peter was such a superhero kind of guy in that story. Going around and healing Aeneas and bringing Tabitha back from the dead. All he needed was a cape, and he'd have been the most incredible superhero.
Yeah, but you seem to think that in order to make a difference in the world, you have to be some kind of superhero.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't really make that big of a difference just being myself, can I? I need a superpowers and stuff.
But that's just the thing, no you don't. Jesus gives each of us the ability to know and share his love, to forgive others, and to pray and listen to his wisdom and guidance. And on top of that, he's given each of us unique talents and abilities. Like how some people can draw well and others are good at sports. Jesus helps you help others. Just like he gave Peter the ability to teach people about him and Tabitha the ability to sew and see what those around her really needed.
That's really cool. So, how do I get these abilities? Do I need to be bitten by some kind of mutant radioactive spider like Spider-Man?
You don't need to get them at all. God's already given you the ability to do them, and with the help of the Holy Spirit, he can train you to use them in amazing ways.
Whoa. So you're saying I've already got these abilities from God and that I just need to listen to the Holy Spirit to learn how to use them?
Yeah, in fact, we all do. Perhaps Ruth can help us with today's Bible verse. Take it away, Ruth.
Okay, let's see here. Today's verse tells us about many different kinds of gifts that we have, that the Holy Spirit gives us. Gifts and powers. Powers like the power to study and teach and to give wise advice, to heal the sick, special faith, the ability to do miracles. And those aren't just gifts for each individual person. Although they are given to individuals, they are meant for the community, which is a group of people who are dedicated to loving God together. I'm going to stick us all together here. I'm sticking all these gifts together, and you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to cut this out. I'm just going to show that this is all one thing. All these people are contributing their gifts like the plant contributes all of its little pieces to make a plant. It has roots, it has a stem, it has leaves, and it has, sometimes they have flowers. And all these things are needed for that plant to thrive. Here's your verse. It is the same and only, it is the same and only Holy Spirit who gives all these gifts and powers. It is the same and only Holy Spirit who gives all these gifts and powers, deciding which each one of us should have. Oh, so who decides which gift we get? The Holy Spirit. Here's an easier way to remember it, or we could just take out some extra words here. Let's see. Holy Spirit gives us each, let's see, where's that word? One of it. These, who only is the should. Gifts. Holy Spirit gives us each gifts and powers. Not for just ourselves, but for the community, so that we can thrive and be beautiful together.
Wow. The Holy Spirit gives us gifts and powers. That's pretty awesome. How does that work?
We all have the ability from God to love, to show kindness, and to be giving toward others, especially those in need. He's already given us the gifts of prayer and worship and the Bible. When we recognize the gifts God has given us and allow His Holy Spirit to help us know how and when to use them to help others, we are being real superheroes in God's kingdom.
I get it. So Jesus helps me to help others. So I don't need a cape or a fancy name or comic book style superpowers because God had already made me to be a superhero in His kingdom, with His Holy Spirit guiding me and His power at work inside me.
Exactly. And they in turn can help others, and those people can help others, and pretty soon maybe a whole bunch of people's lives are changed because we chose to follow Jesus.
I wonder what superhero name I should use. Ooh, I better start designing a new superhero outfit.
Okay, before you get too carried away with that, let's see if our friends can figure out today's main point in time.
Welcome to the Main Point Challenge, 4 Corners Edition, where you choose a word by going to the corner with the number matching the word you think is correct before time runs out. Now stand up and walk like this character. You can do it. Which of these 4 words goes in the blue blank? God, Bob, people, or Jesus? Hurry and choose a corner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 4 is the winner. Jesus is the correct answer. Which of these 4 words goes in the blue blank? Helps, gave, asked, or shows? Hurry and choose a corner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 1 is the winner. Helps is the correct answer. Which of these 4 words goes in the blue blank? Others, with, you, or love? Hurry and choose a corner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 3 is the winner. You is the correct answer. Which of these 4 words goes in the blue blank? Do, help, with, or serve? Hurry and choose a corner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 2 is the winner. Help is the correct answer. Which of these 4 words goes in the blue blank? Others, love, serve, or take? Hurry and choose a corner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Number 1 is the winner. Others is the correct answer. Jesus helps you help others. That was out of this world good. Now beam yourself back to your seat.
Super spectacular Snuggles. You did it again. You know, I just had another thought.
Do I want to know?
Since Peter was able to pray for a big miracle like healing Aeneas, Can we do that also?
We can pray with faith, a trust that God can do amazing miracles and believe that it can happen. Sometimes God answers our prayers differently than we expected, but there too we can continue to trust that God knows a lot more of what's needed than we do.
Like when I was 9 years old and I had to trust my mom knew best, even when she wouldn't let me order a kit to make my own fireworks. And I was really upset. Now I know how smart she was to keep me from burning myself or burning down the house.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison, Josh. Super co-host. Thank you for helping share about these two amazing miracles that God worked through Peter.
You're very welcome. I learned a lot. Now, I wonder what changes I can make to this.
Okay, good luck with that. Thank all of you for joining us today, and we invite you back next week for another great episode of HG Elementary. In the meantime, remember that Jesus helps you help others.
Keep being heroic
By following
Jesus' way.